Cleaning data with text functions. Introduction. The data that you obtained from different sources may need not be in a form ready for analysis. In this chapter, you will understand how to prepare your data that is in the form of text for analysis. Initially, you need to clean the data. Data cleaning includes removing unwanted characters from text. Next, you need to structure the data in the form you require for further analysis. You can do the same by number 1, finding required text patterns with the text functions, extracting data values from text, formatting data with text functions, and executing data operations with the text functions. Removing unwanted characters from text. When you import data from another application, it can have non-printable characters and/or excess spaces. The excess spaces can be leading spaces and/or extra spaces between words. If you sort, analyze such data, you will get erroneous results. Consider the following example. So if you're going to look at this data, you notice that we have leading spaces here, and we also have unprintable characters. So if you sort this, you might have the wrong result in sorting. This is the raw data that you have obtained on product information containing the product ID, product description, and the price. The character, the single bar or the vertical bar, separates the field in each row. When you import this data into Excel worksheet, it looks as follows. So this is how the data will look like if you import the data. As you observe, the entire data is in a single column. You need to structure this data to perform data analysis. However, initially you need to clean the data. You need to remove any non-printable characters and excess spaces that must be present in the data. You can use the clean function and the trim function for this purpose. So let's take a look again. So you notice this is the data. The data imported is only at column B. So it's just a single column. So later on, we need to separate this data. So here are the functions now that we can use to remove non-printable characters and remove excess spaces. So we have the clean function. So the clean function removes all non-printable characters from text, while the trim function removes spaces from text. So this is what we're going to do. Select the cells C3 to C11, then type the formula trim clean B3, and then press Ctrl Enter. So the formula now is filled in the cells from C3 to C11. So you notice we have the formula. First we're going to clean, and then we're going to trim whatever is placed at B3, and so on and so forth. So in this case, the data will be clean. So the result will be as follows. So this is our raw data, and this is now the output. As you notice, the non-printable characters, so these characters here, are no longer here, and we have removed excess spaces. To structure your data, you might have to do certain text pattern matching, based on which you can extract the values. Some of the text functions that are useful for this purpose are, we have the exact function, which checks to see if two text values are identical. We also have the find function, finds one text value within another, that is case sensitive, And we have a similar function, which is a search function, which finds one text value within another, but this one, it is not case sensitive. So you need to extract the required data from text in order to structure the same. In the above example, you need to place the data in three columns. So one column for product ID, another column for product description, and another for price. You can extract data in one of the following ways. So the first way is extracting data values with convert text to columns wizard. So we can use the convert text to columns wizard. Another way is to extract data values with text functions. So, and then another way is to extract data values with flash fill. So we'll be discussing how these three ways work. So first one is extracting data values with the convert text to columns wizard. So extracting data values with the convert text to column wizard. So you can use the convert text to column wizard to extract data values into Excel columns if your fields are, so these are the conditions, the field should be delimited by a character or aligned in columns with spaces between each field. So in the above example, the fields are delimited by the character, the vertical bar. So hence, you can use the convert text to columns wizard. So the step is select the data, then copy and paste the values in the same place. Otherwise, convert text to columns takes the function rather than the data itself as the input. So select the data, click on text to columns in the data tools group under data tab on the ribbon. So here are the steps. Step 1, convert text to column wizard. Step 1 of 3 appears. So select the delimited text, click next. So data, text to columns. Okay, so we have data, then text to columns, and then we click on delimited text. Then click next. So this will be the steps. And the next, convert text to column wizard. So step 2 of 3 appears. So we have now on the step 2. So under delimiters, this one, select other. And then in the box next to other, type the character vertical bar. So we place the vertical bar here. And then we again click next. Convert text to column wizard, so step 3. So this is now step 3. In this screen, you can select each column of your data in the wizard and set the format for that column. So here we can choose the format. Okay, so we have here other options also. So for the next destination, select the cell D3. For example, you can click advanced and set decimal separator and thousand separator in the advanced text import settings dialog box appears. Then we just click finish if we're through with this step. So your data now, it is converted to columns, appears in 3 columns from D, E, and F. So name the column headers as product ID. So we just change the name, then change this one to product description, and change the column this to price. So that's the first method using the data convert text to column wizard. And the next now is extract data values with text functions. Suppose the fields in your data neither are delimited by a character nor are aligned in columns with spaces between each field. You can use text functions to extract data values. Even in the case the fields are delimited, you can still use text functions to extract data. Some of the text functions that are useful for this purpose are, so we have the left function, so which returns the leftmost character from a text value. We have the right function that returns the rightmost characters from a text value. We have the mid function that returns a specific number of characters from a text string starting at the position you specify. And then we have len that returns the length of the characters, the number of characters in a text string. You can also combine two or more of these functions as per the data you have at hand to extract the required data values, for example using a combination of left, right, and value functions, or using a combination of find, left, len, and mid functions. In the above example, all characters to the left of the first vertical bar give the name product ID. So these are the characters. So here, these are the characters before the vertical bar. So we give the name product ID. All the characters right to the second, so this one, right to the second vertical bar, give the name price. So these are the prices. And all the characters that lie between the first and the second vertical bar give the name product description. So each vertical bar has a space before and after. So there's a space before and after as we can observe in our data. So we have to check for the pattern. So observing this information, you can extract the data values with the following steps. First, find the position of the first vertical bar. You can use the find function. Then find the position of the second vertical bar. So you can also use the find function. So beginning to the first functions. Characters of the text. So beginning to characters of the text give product ID. So you can use the left function until the first vertical bar. So first position plus 2 to second position minus 2. So this is what we're referring to. This is the first position plus 1 plus 2. So it's starting from this. The one a while ago, yung product ID is up to this minus 1 minus 2. So dito yun. This is the length. Okay, so first position plus 2 up to the second position minus 2. These are the characters of the text. Give product description. So you can use the mid function. And the second position plus 2 to the end characters of the text give price. So you can use the right function here. So here's now the formula to extract the data. So first, we have here a formula to find the first position of the vertical bar. Okay, so we start with the first character. So we have here 1. That means we start with the first character. Now for the second position, so this is quite more trickier than the first one. So we find again the vertical bar, but from B3, so the same. So find vertical bar from B3, start with position 1. So that is under C. But here we find vertical bar in B3, but we start with the value of C3 plus 1. That means just after the first vertical bar. So that is where we can find the second vertical bar. So I'll repeat, we find vertical bar inside B3, but we will start from wherever we find the first vertical bar. So that's this position plus 1. So we start at this position. Okay, and then how can we get product ID? So the product ID is equal to left of B3, so this one, with the length of where we find the first vertical bar minus 2. So we have left B3, C3 minus 2. So that is where we find product ID. And product description will be mid of B3, so the same. And it will start with C3 plus 2. So this is C3 plus 2. So we start with this character. And then the length will be where we find the second character, second vertical bar, that's D3, minus where we find the first vertical bar, C3, and then minus 2, because we have here 2 spaces. So again, I'll repeat. So mid of B3, this one. Then this is the start value, C3 plus 2. So we start from where we find this one. So where we find the first vertical bar, plus 1 plus 2. So we start with this character. So C3 plus 2. And what is now the length? The length of the character to be extracted from this, starting from C3 plus 2, is what? Where we find this minus where we find this, so that's D3 minus C3. And then that gives us this length, and then just subtract the 2 spaces. That's why D3 minus C3 minus 2. So that will give us the product description. And then for the price, so we have right of B3, so rightmost of B3. And what's the length? The length will be the length of the whole B3 minus where we find this vertical bar here. So that's a minus D3. And then still, because we have 1 space, so minus 1 or minus 2 maybe. Say it's here minus 2 in other formulas. Okay, so that will now be our formula to extract the data from our import here. So the result will be something like this. So you can observe that the values in the price column are text values. To perform calculations on these values, you have to format the corresponding cells. You can look at the section given below to understand formatting of text. Now, extracting data values with flash fill. Using Excel flash fill is another way to extract data values from text. However, this works only when Excel is able to find a pattern in the data. So step 1, create 3 columns for product ID, product description, and price next to the data. So we created the columns. We place here the column headers. In step 2, copy and paste the values for C3, E3, and D2. So we copy this text and then paste here. Copy this text and then paste it here. Copy this text and paste it here. So we got this data from cell B3. Then step 3, select cell C3, so this one, then click flash fill in the data tool. So data, then we have here flash fill. So group on the data tab. So data and then flash fill. All the values for product ID now get filled. So it will automatically fill this one with the product ID. Step 4, repeat the above given steps for product description. So the same, place your cursor here and then data flash fill. So the data is filled and do the same thing with price. So formatting data with text functions. So Excel has several built-in text functions that you can use for formatting data containing text. These include, we have lower, upper, and proper. So lower, convert text to lowercase, excuse me, and upper converts text to uppercase, and proper capitalizes the first letter in each word of a text value. Functions that convert and or format the numbers as text are: we have dollar that converts a number to text using the dollar or currency format. Fix formats a number as text with a fixed number of decimals, and text formats a number and converts it to text. So functions that converts text to numbers, we have value, converts a text argument to a number. Executing data operations with text functions. You might have to perform certain operations, text operations on your data. For example, if login IDs for the employees are changed to a new format in an organization, based on the format change, text replacements might have to be done. Following text functions help you in performing text operations on your data containing text. So we have replace, replaces characters within text. We have substitute, substitutes new text for old text in a text string. Concatenate, joins several text items into one text item. Concat combines a text from multiple ranges and or strings, but it does not provide the delimiter or ignore empty arguments. So text join combines the text from multiple ranges and or strings and includes a delimiter. You specify between each text value that will be combined. If the delimiter is an empty text string, this function will effectively concatenate the ranges. So concat and text join are used to join ranges, while concatenate is used to join several text items. Then we have rep, repeats text given number of times. So that ends our lecture for cleaning data with text functions. So thank you very much for viewing this video.